Welcome to Fan Theory Queries, where we analyze fan theories from all over the internet, but mostly Reddit. I'm Laura.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Spencer, and we're excited to welcome to the show the guys from the movie discussion podcast. I had to make that correction after I listened to the episode today. 2 chunks and a hunk. Doge, Jordan, and Carter. Thanks so much for joining us, guys.
Yay! We're finally here.
You're here.
Yay! I had the urge to do this thing, but it's not a video. We're not recording video, so this is just for us.
Listeners, you can just use your imagination as to what he was actually doing.
This is the largest amount of people that have ever been on the show at one time, so this will be a blast. I'm really looking forward to it. And speaking of a blast, your show is a blast. I think anybody who loves movies would love to listen to at least one episode of your show to decide for themselves that I'm right when I say it's a blast.
Minimum one.
Surely.
Surely there's
but
one
since you guys
good
like
one
to talk
in
about
there.
movies, we thought you would be a great fit for coming on the show to talk about movie fan theories. And we gave you the opportunity to choose your own, and you did, and you delivered some fantastic theories. And I say we'll give you an opportunity later on to tell people how to find you, but let's go ahead and get things started with our first theory. And I'm going to put you on the spot, Doge. You're going to go first, and you're going to present to us your theory. Where does your theory come from? What movie?
Heck yeah, I'm in. I'm ready. My theory comes from Jurassic Park, and if there's one thing I love talking
You've
about...
never seen it, right?
I've never seen it. It seems like the kind of movie I've always wanted to see for my whole life. Love dinosaurs. I'm a dinosaur kid who never grew up, so researching this theory was an absolute blast for me. This comes from a Reddit user who's called Mage Cat with Arrows, which is... Yeah. I haven't seen Jurassic Park, but that's my favorite kind of dinosaur, is a Mage Cat with Arrows, so that's perfect. This is a theory about why the Dilophosaurus doesn't attack Nedry when they first meet, but then later, ultimately, spoilers, I guess, for a 30-year-old movie, does eat Nedry.
Nedry is Newman, right?
Yes.
Nedry is Newman, yes.
Nedry is Newman.
By the end of the scene, he's a chewed man.
And also Al from Al's Toy Barn.
He sure is.
Al's Toy Barn.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he played for the Toon Squad. Sorry, go ahead.
He did.
Don't apologize for the Toon Squad.
Hey, real quick, though, what else has he done? Just real quick. Let's just knock them all out.
I think that's honestly it.
That's it.
Yeah, he's in Jurassic Park for sure.
He is that.
Oh, yes.
That's it.
This fan theory says that when Nedry first encounters the Dilophosaurus, it seems curious and almost playful. Then, seemingly out of the blue, it shifts gears and things rapidly spiral downward for our beloved corporate espionage character. I always thought it was just sizing him up before eating him, as in it always saw him as prey, but upon watching it for the millionth time this morning, which, Doge interjecting here, gotta respect those numbers. I haven't hit 1 million myself, but I'll get there one day. Upon watching it for the millionth time this morning, I noticed an important detail: the hood. When they first come face to face, Nedry has his hood up and it's spread wide around his face. His poncho is bright yellow, just like the Dilophosaurus' hood flaps. As Dr. Grant said, dinosaurs and man just got thrown into the mix together, and we have no idea what will happen. A dinosaur has no idea what a rain poncho is, so when it first saw Nedry, all it saw was a giant figure with a huge hood around its face. Now, bear in mind, all the park's dinosaurs are female. I believe that the Dilophosaurus thought Nedry was a male, and more specifically, a potential mate. That's why it followed him like a puppy and made those little cooing noises at him. Aww. That is until he tripped, causing his hood to fall down. Once the female Dilophosaurus realized Nedry's ruse, it became aggressive, putting up its own hood in a threat display, hissing and spitting venom in his face, and the rest is history.
Wow.
Or herstory.
Herstory.
Rest is herstory. The rest is prehistory, perhaps, in the case of Dilophosaurus.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I never noticed that detail watching this movie. I just thought it was funny when he slips and you hear the little slide whistle go. Seemed.
I think that was left over from Toon Squad.
Yes.
He had some of Michael's secret stuff on his shoes still, I think.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
This guy was leaking secret stuff for sure in that scene.
So a couple of highlighted comments here. A user named Ease of Use says this definitely lines up with dinosaur behavior in the book, where they get noticeably more aggressive and casual about invading the human's personal space as the physical barriers in the park break down. The hammer has landed points out in the book there's no mention of his hood's positioning. Another user, Psych Adam, follows up with some helpful insight that I was also noticing. When you rewatch the scene, Nedry doesn't put his hood up right away when he encounters Dilophosaurus. Dilophosaurus actually doesn't really change her behavior all that much once he puts his hood up. So this user, Psych Adam, suggests that maybe the Dilophosaurus interpreted him as putting his hood up as some sort of like aggressive signal, which is why it puts its hood up as well. Says this fits the film's theme of humans not meddling with things they don't understand, which I get it. I have Jordan, you're nodding. Why are you nodding like that to me?
I'm not being sarcastic for the first time. No, listening to you talk about it, I was like, so I intentionally didn't read your theory. I wanted to be surprised by the things you're saying. And the whole time you were talking, I was like, I think it was just mirroring him. And then you finally got to that point, and I was like, there we go. Okay. That's sort of what I've always interpreted that scene as, is like, oh, okay, you want to put hoods up? I got hoods. Let's do it. Let's go.
You want to throw
Let's throw hoods.
Well, OP even says it, right? OP even says when she puts hers up, it's in aggression.
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that totally goes along with what you're saying there. If it was just a mimicking behavior.
But they have a defense, don't they? A response to that comment? They came back?
Yeah, they said, I hear what you're saying, and it definitely could punch a hole in my theory, but I'm going to put out there that she doesn't look him in the face until he puts the hood up, at least from what I could tell. Which
Just another man
I don't know.
assuming the actions of a woman on the internet.
So
You got that right.
I've done a bit of research that I think could provide some clarity for
Let's
us.
hear it.
Bring us home.
Real life, like as in like real world dinosaurology.
Come on in, dinosaurs.
As in real world. Yeah, bring the dinos in. Bring the dinos in. Everybody look under your chair. You've got a Dilophosaurus under there.
Didn't we learn all you have to do is like hold a hand up
So
and like block their eyes or something? Like
That's the problem is they
Right.
didn't have Andy from Parks
Yeah.
and Rec
Okay,
tame
okay.
this Dilophosaurus. If he could only taught it to ride a motorcycle.
Wait, I thought that was Star-Lord that was in Jurassic Park. Jurassic World.
that's Jurassic World 2.
No, I think it's actually the coworker
the-
that gets hit in the face with the keyboard from Wanted.
Yeah, excellent
Oh.
reference.
Oh, that's probably it. Do forget that one.
Most famously known. So I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are entirely fictionalized.
Oh, what?
They're almost nothing like the real animals they're supposed to represent. I know. It's a tough moment for all of us. Dilophosaurus likely had no frill and likely had no venom. Dilophosaurus was, however, much larger than Dilophosaurus was in the movie. Dilophosaurus in real life was about 6 feet tall, 20 feet long, 900 pounds. Dilophosaurus in the movie is quite a lot smaller. In real life,
Yes.
we'll call him Dylan.
Sure.
How about
Okay.
Dylan for a Dilophosaurus name?
Yeah, I like
real
that.
life,
I like that.
Dylan
I
had a
was thinking the
super
same thing.
Dylan had a super narrow snout. It was stronger toward the back than it was toward the front. So this suggests that Dylan probably ate mostly fish and small animals. He would grab them with the front of his mouth and then slice and cut them with his stronger bite force in the back of his mouth. He did, however, have two crests going from his nose to the base of his skull. Dilophosaurus means dual-crested lizard.
I was going to say that.
I was going to say it about the same
And
time Carter was, too.
Paleontologists. Yeah, well, Carter, thanks. I beat you to it. I'm sorry. Paleontologists theorize that those crests are probably display features used to attract a mate. The joke in paleontology is that if there's some kind of feature that we don't know what it is for, it's probably a display feature.
The joke in paleontology. Hey, man. Let me let you in a little bit on the paleontologist humor here.
Paleontologists are funny, dude.
You know, it's one of those That's
So
the first
if
time.
if Dylans were basically pescatarians, then could it just be that Nedry was acting a little fishy?
Oh,
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
end of the podcast. That's it.
Okay, we should just stop here. We should not move on anymore. That cannot be topped.
No more paleontology jokes.
Let's take a look at three animals.
Okay.
We're going to look at frilled lizard, native to Australia.
Okay.
We're going to take a look at peafowl, native to the whole entire world, peacocks and peahens. And we're going to look at cobras. Frilled lizards are where we should start because frilled lizards do have a frill. that they fan out like that functions as a threat display. There's no evidence for other suggested functions in reptiles with this feature. It's likely a threat display.
Yeah, very likely.
The important thing about frilled lizards,
It's probably why they're called frilled lizards.
I think they had the name first. They were like, we got to find somebody to stick this name to.
I'm pretty sure there's one in Rescuers Down Under.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure there is, actually.
That's not Joanna. No.
No, Joanna's not.
Better just,
She's like a
run
big
Yeah, that's just like a
thing.
evil thing. Eats eggs. Okay.
Yeah, she eats eggs. That's right, not fish.
The important thing about these guys is that they're sexually dimorphic. So the males are larger than females and have proportionally bigger frills. So it should stand to reason then that if Nedry is a male Jurassic Park-sized Dilophosaurus, he would be proportionally larger than her and have a proportionally larger frill. She doesn't seem to respond to his frill.
Not impressed.
I think we can throw out the hood being a frill. We looked at peafowl. Peafowl are notable because peacocks demonstrate intersexual selection, which means the males compete with one another in order to be chosen by the females. They fan out their tail, they stand them up. It's a very similar mechanism to what the frilled lizard uses. Carter, are you all right? You having a moment?
No, I'm so happy for you. Like y'all are getting
Listen to
like
me. Listen to
the
me.
espresso drip
this
of
is
one
my
of
dream.
Doge's.
I'm loving this
This
is my
paleontologist lecture
dream,
moment
dude.
that he's getting to have.
I love this.
So peafowl, the males compete with one another for the females' attention.
You have to stop saying peafowl. I can't. I'm trying my
Good.
hardest.
I have nothing.
over
I have
here.
nothing more to say
I
about
really am.
peacocks.
That's a first.
So we're gonna look at cobras now. I think cobras are where we should spend a lot of our time focusing.
Big
Because
same.
cobras are reptiles with a frill-like hood who also spit venom. While it seems at first glance that Dilophosaurus in Jurassic Park might be most closely related to a frilled lizard, they exhibit behavior much more similar to a cobra. The two most important things about cobras, well, three, they're also sexually dimorphic, which means the males are larger. But the most important thing is that king cobra females, queen cobras, protect their nests for up to 77 days. They aggressively defend incubating eggs. And cobras are known to cannibalize. They prey primarily on other snakes, specifically other cobras. So Dilophosaurus in the movie is likely female. Over the course of the film, some of the dinosaurs change sex because of the frog DNA in them, but let's just assume Dilophosaurus is female.
Dino DNA.
Based on the morphology of a frilled lizard, we can assume that she views Nedry as a male since he is so much larger than she is.
Love you, Newman.
Based on the morphology of
Is
the...
that a fat joke?
Yes.
It's a sexual dimorphism joke, so it's, I guess, a kind of fat joke.
So yes, a little bit. It's a little bit of fat.
Peacocks don't help us too much. I think we can rule out any kind of mate-based selection. I think the cobra is our biggest indicator of what's happening in this scene. Nedry is carrying a can filled with dinosaur embryos, which is essentially a man-made egg. And what do female cobras do? They aggressively protect incubating eggs. And let's say the Dilophosaurus in the movie actually does view Nedry as a large male of her own species. That works pretty nicely for cobras too, because they prey primarily on other snakes and are even known to eat other cobras. My read after countless hours of research.
Well, hold on.
Watching this scene over 3 times.
I might. Let me pause you.
Yes.
Do you want to save your this for your theory rating? Like whenever you unveil how you feel about this theory.
Sure.
And put
Sure.
this part of it.
Definitely.
And then so that way it'll fall into your ultimate determination
Definitely.
of how you feel this theory is.
Definitely. I've presented my case. I would
you
love to hear
guys-
the jury's thoughts.
Okay.
Do you guys remember when you would go over to a friend's house as a kid and you were like, "Oh, what? You got the new Spider-Man game? Can we play it?" And he was like, "Actually, the reason that you probably shouldn't play it is because..." And then he talked for 30 minutes, and then you were like, "I don't even like Spider-Man anymore."
You're telling me you don't like dinosaurs anymore because
I
did
hate
such a
dinosaurs
cool
now.
job explaining a dinosaur.
I think I just like Doge more now. I mean, that was
Thanks.
a
Thanks.
very
Sure,
Oh, that means
yeah.
his alliances with
Appreciate
someone
it.
else.
Equal and
I'm just
opposite
thankful
reactions.
for. We joked about it, but it is nice to have really a title for if I ever miss like a toilet, especially a public toilet. I can just be like, "Oh, peafowl."
It took him a while to come to that.
No, I liked it.
Yeah, it's
A
good.
that was a long walk for a short drip of
Yeah.
water.
Hey, Carter, thanks for incubating that joke for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Dang.
Okay, well, I mean, we could just sit here and make all kinds of wonderful jokes, but I think we're probably about ready. Everybody feel like you've heard what you need to hear before you're ready to make a judgment
Or
on
do
this
you want to
theory?
throw out more arguments before we go to break?
No, I think I feel good. Oh, Carter doesn't feel good. Hey, settle
No,
your
I feel
spirit,
good.
bud.
I think
what you
it's
need to say.
just. I think one of the fascinating things about Jurassic Park at all, we talk on our podcast about like there's this time frame in your life, and it feels like it's between like 7 and 10 or 11 years old.
Yeah.
That there are these things that happen that just like I'm gonna love this movie for the rest of my life. Like Jurassic Park was that for me.
Yeah.
And the big awe
yeah.
about all of it, outside of the technicalities of it being, Spielbergian and all the wonderful things he did that still hold up, is
Yeah.
like both of these creatures have never interacted with each other. Dinosaurs in general, humans in general, unless Adam Driver might show us otherwise in a couple of months. But it's like, I think the fact that I love that it's getting torn down. I love that there's theories around it.
Sure.
But ultimately for me, I think you could have said anything. And I would have been like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
They've really been screwing around with the genetics of dinosaurs. And they've never, ever been around humans before, from what we know.
This dinosaur hates yellow.
Yeah.
And I would have been like, sure.
Oh, I knew it.
Just not a part of their lives. But I think it's fun.
I have a question. So anybody
Is this question for me, a dinosaur expert, or for just all the other regular people on the podcast?
has anybody read the books? Because I noticed
Yeah.
a commenter mentioned how there was a difference in the books.
Ooh,
No, I've never read the
Crichton, dude, I
books.
have not.
I have not.
Sir, can you officially call yourself a Jurassic Park expert?
I seem like the kind of guy who would have read that book, right?
Have you even seen Disney's Dinosaur starring Aladar?
Or all of the Land Before
Yeah.
Time?
Every
No,
Land Before Time?
I just didn't know if there was anybody that had any insight into that
Yeah.
little bit that somebody was throwing in there to try to be like, there was a little bit of difference here, but
No.
Eh.
I guess that's
don't.
not a point any of us care about. So therefore, we're not even going to talk about it.
Books?
Act like it's
I
not there.
will say,
Go listen to a book podcast.
I will say, actually, though, that's a comment from Reddit user The Hammer Has Landed. They say, yeah, but in the book, there's no mention of his hood's positioning, and he ends up holding his own entrails. The dinosaur guts him, and he's left holding his intestines. Presumably,
That's what that
no
means.
mention of his hood's positioning, to me, seems to further strengthen the fact that I don't think Dilophosaurus understands this hood at all. She's turning her head side to side like a dog, trying to figure out what's happening. I don't think that there's any part of her brain that is interpreting this hood as anything other than this is just a weird shape in front of me. But then once she smells the egg, that's when I think she goes nuts.
Okay. Sounds
Very
good. Well, I
good.
think after all of that, we should probably take a break, collect our thoughts, and then we'll come back and we will rate this theory.
Easy peasy.
All right, we're back. Real quick, I wanted to see, do you guys, so your show is called Two Chunks and a Hunk.
It is.
What is the best way someone could listen to your show?
With ears that are ready to hear.
We're everywhere, man.
Love it.
We're everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere.
So your show's been around for a long time. So a lot of movie reviews, discussions for people. I mean, I love when you have your series. You had the Batman series. We talked about the Batman, all the Spider-Man movies. You did your Trunktober where you talked about
And we had a Titanic theory at the same time that y'all did your Titanic
Yeah.
discussion. Sorry, I keep wanting to
Was it-
slip that R word in there.
wasn't it? It was the Trimmers.
We also did a Trimmers theory. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd watch Trimmers again.
So,
right now.
Trimmers.
So go find Two Chunks and a Hunk on any place you can find podcasts. And for now, though, we're on Fan Theory Queries, which means it's time to rate a theory. Guys, this is going to be your first time with our official theory rating scale. And in order for you to have the best options to choose from, we turn to our professional theory creator, or three rating scale creator, Michael, to go over that for us with a clear and distinct voice. Michael?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. The highest rating that we have is genius. This is reserved for only the best theories, which we believe are better than the actual canon. The next step down is plausible. It's a good theory, it's believable, Unlikely is next. It's not a terrible theory, but pretty unlikely, as the name suggests. And then the last thing is preposterous. These are the theories that are just stupid. Basically, we're all dumber for having listened to them.
Okay, so who wants to start? Normally, I will say, Doge, we like to leave the person who brought the theory to be the last person to rate.
That's fine, because honestly, with all my research, I know I'm correct. So it's fine. I'll go last. That's fine with me.
I'll go first. I've never been afraid of anything.
Go for it.
In my whole life. Not even spiders. Don't ask. Just kidding. I'm afraid of a lot of things. Plausible. I'm going to go with plausible, and here's why. I don't really care about the science behind any of it. I think that when Nedry throws his hood up, there is a reaction. Therefore, they are connected in some way. So I am down with the theory that she's like, whoa, big weird dinosaur. And I'm in. I wouldn't say it's genius because I don't know that it improves my canon in my own head. But definitely plausible, for sure.
Okay. All right. That's very fair. Who next?
I'd say, I think because I think it is really creative and just fun. Like, I enjoyed listening to it, and it makes me want to look at other theories in Jurassic Park. It's really fun to theorize. It feels like y'all are doing this podcast at a good time because theories feel really hot, like especially like in the MCU, and just people just want to give their opinions about what they think is going on. So to retroactively go back 3 decades almost and do it is a lot of fun. So I'm going to say plausible. I hadn't heard anything like that before. I definitely don't think that Spielberg was like, we have to make sure that it's raining so that we cover our tracks here, both as a pun and then like legitimately in terms of making sure that he's wearing a raincoat so that when he comes across Dylan thinks that he's a Dylan. Like, I definitely don't think that's it, but it's plausible enough.
Dylan villain, dude.
It's a Dylan villain.
Okay. All right. Dylan villain. I love it. Michael, you like dinosaurs. You did some dinosaur research as well. So I'm interested to hear what you're thinking.
I did not do hours of research like Doge here. I literally did some like 10-minute research before we started just to refresh my memory because I was a dinosaur kid as well. But
that'll suffice.
The scales fall off at around 15. Yeah.
I also had ADHD, so I ended up shifting to something else like after a year. So
Sure.
Anyway, I think that I'm gonna have to agree with Jordan and Carter on this one. I think that it's a plausible. The hood definitely has something to do with it. I don't know if it's necessarily what the theorist says, but I think that it is definitely a reaction to the hood in some way or another. So I'm sticking with plausible.
Okay. I'll go next. Do you mind?
Go ahead.
I'll be the first to deter whatever you think is split away from everybody else. Diverge. Thank you. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to go with unlikely, actually, on this one. Especially because
Controversy.
I know. I don't think it's preposterous. I mean, I get what they're coming for. I see that I see the chain of events that could be happening. But I think with the people pointing out that it's not an immediate, like, oh, hood up. Oh, ooh, my hood up. Or whatever, you know. I can't quite draw that connection, especially remembering I had forgotten that there were eggs in that Barbasol can. I think that is more likely what this conflict is about rather than the hood. And it just took the dinosaur a little bit more time to catch a whiff of what was inside. So that's where I'm leaning, more on the unlikely side.
That's a good point.
I'm also going to go unlikely on this because from what I remember, okay, I'm going to confess I've only watched this movie one time. And from what I remember, I don't think that people were constantly walking around the park wearing those rain ponchos. I don't think it was, I mean, rain, of course, is in their natural ecosystem, but I mean, it wasn't a constant. And so I think this was just an unfamiliar thing to her. But I feel like OP, in the way they wrote this theory, even disproves it themselves by, again, like I said before, the hood was up and then it fell down, so then she puts her hood up in a sign of aggression. That's not
You think it would be the other way around? Like if he put it up, then she would put it up? You think it would go that way?
If from what OP is saying, that seems like what they're trying to to say. That's just
That's the
confusing
way
to
it
me,
went
the
in
way
my
they wrote
memory,
that.
at least.
Sorry.
Until watching the clip like 4 or 5 times a day, that's the way it went in my memory. That Nedry pops his hood up and then she immediately frills out like that.
Yeah, it's that power of suggestion, or
Right.
Mandela effect. Isn't that what they call that?
No, it's
In my universe, the hood's been up at the same time. I don't know what universe you guys are from.
You
It's
and the
the Mandalorian
Berenstein Bears.
Right. So I just don't. I feel like there's too many people that can pile onto this. I think it's way too easy to punch the holes in that one. So unlikely for me.
Fair enough.
all right. Where are you at, Doge?
I can confidently say that the reason Nedry was attacked and ultimately eaten by Dilophosaurus 30 years ago in Jurassic Park was because he was carrying dinosaur embryos, not because of his hood.
Yeah.
I think the theory is unlikely based on a technicality. I don't necessarily see any behavior in Dilophosaurus in which she indicates she understood any kind of signal the hood may or may not have been sending. Her responses to Nedry don't change at all. If his hood's up, if his hood's down, she only becomes aggressive when he falls and his clothing comes into contact with the water, which is rushing past her between her legs, likely spreading the scent of Nedry's misdeeds and alerting her to the theft of her eggs.
This is
Yes,
a
Deeds.
dinosaur guy? Whatever, dude.
Yes.
I want to thank you for letting me discuss this theory because I and like I said earlier, I'm a dinosaur kid who never grew up, and was my dream as a kid to host like nature documentaries and animal shows. So thank you for indulging me for the past half hour.
I feel like you
everybody.
did such a wonderful job displaying or presenting the facts. Like if you were making them up or reciting them or reading them, I don't know. I believed every word you said.
They're all fake.
I still believe you.
Yep.
Genius, dude. It's very creative this
Oh,
one.
right.
I mean, but what a great entry
Yeah.
with our guests.
Yes.
That's a great way to start off the week with
Good luck, Jordan and Carter.
new hosts.
Don't
to
need
the,
it. It's going to be bad.
I think what we've established here is
Well,
that anytime we have a theory about a movie that has anything to do with dinosaurs, we're going to call Doge in as our resident expert.
Yeah.
I'm your
Phone
guy.
a friend.
Okay. We'll do it. I'll put you in as dino.
I'm sort of the Dr. Grant of podcasting.
Ooh, nice.
All right. Well, one of the ways I usually, it doesn't happen every time, but I typically like to end the episode by sharing a fascinating movie detail. Last Fact 3044 pointed out that when the VFX house responsible for Quantumania asked if they should focus on quality or saving money, Marvel told them money or Disney overturns contract. This is known in the film industry as MODOK.
It's pretty good, actually.
That's wonderful.
Clever.
I accept that.
And of course, Michael's shaking his head, as always. Anyway, this has been Fan Theory Queries. Thank you all so much for being on this episode. Listeners, stay tuned for more theories from the Two Chunks and a Hunk guys. And with that, I'm Laura.
I'm Michael.
Carter, say I'm Carter.
Oh, that's my biggest line. I totally missed my line.
Line.
This is
I
your
can't
moment.
believe it. Can we start up? Can we get
What's
it from
the
the
line?
top? Can we reshoot the scene?
You could just... Michael, could you lead him in?
I need to be in
I'm
the.
Michael.
I need to be in the environment. Wait, say it again. I talked over you, Michael.
Okay, we're gonna do a countdown here. Okay,
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
I'm
Michael.
Carter. Oh, see, I always get in my head. Okay, Michael. I'll go. I'm Carter.
I'm Doge.
And I'm happy to be here. And also Jordan.
And I'm happy you're here, Jordan, and I'm also Spencer. In our next episode, we continue Two Chunks and a Hunk Week with Jordan, Carter, and Doge by asking the question, did Tony Perkis, Ben Stiller's character in Heavyweights, go on to create Globo Gym in the movie Dodgeball? Subscribe to Fan Theory Queries so you don't miss out on that and other fascinating fan theories.